Hi there everyone, welcome to the newsletter this week. My turn, following on from Joel's putting exercise from last week. As you can see, the weather isn't how we want it to be, so I feel as though it's quite a good time to do some reflection. So what I've got here is my set of golf clubs, which some of you may have seen in the shop or when you've come down to the range and had a lesson with me. Do we actually know what sort of clubs we're hitting around the golf course? I think from winter time to summertime, two totally different times of year, where I still think we try and hit the same club from the same spot every time we go out there. So what I mean from that 150 yards in the winter is totally different to 150 yards in the summer, where the ball just obviously during this time of year just stops, and during the summertime we do get that amount of roll. So it's time to consider what sort of clubs we're using round, especially Verulam, at certain times of the year. So what I want you to do is basically plot your way around Verulam, what you generally use in the wintertime and what you would generally use during the summertime. So on the first hole, for instance, I would hit a driver, and hopefully if it's somewhere down the middle during the wintertime, I get myself just on top of the bomb hole layer there. So I'm anywhere between 120 to 100 yards, which generally for me is one of my wedges. In the summertime, it plays a lot different. My ball tends to obviously go that little bit further, and I can sometimes be as close as up to sort of 30, 40 yards away. So again, a totally different shot completely. So if you can start to have a little look in your bag, write down what clubs you're using during the winter time on all the holes, and what you're using during the summertime. When we do eventually get back to golf, which hopefully will be very soon, is that the way you can start to structure your practice is that a lot of the time when we do go down the golf range, who pulls for a 7-iron? A very common club used, okay? Because right in the middle of the bag, it's one that we heavily use, and it's whenever I go and pick it out of somebody's bag, I can always tell by the grip because it's the one that's been the most worn. Okay, so what that might identify on your charts is, am I practicing when I do get the chance to practice with those golf clubs I'm using on the golf course? So you might find that I use my 5-wood quite a lot, but I don't use it on the range and I don't practice with it. So surely that's a club we should be practicing with. What you might find is, if it's a club that I have been using a lot, am I practicing with it too much? Not that I don't think you can practice too much of doing with one club, but it might identify other clubs that you can then go and practice, again at the range, or be a bit more experimentative when you're out on the golf course. One last thing, I think what also identifies is that you might have certain gaps in the bag where a lot of the woods now obviously come with adjustable locking systems, where you can tailor loft and you can also tailor face angle. During the winter time, we look to maybe get a little bit more carry so the ball doesn't feel like it needs to run through, okay, because we don't usually get the run this time of year. So you might look at just adjusting lofts a little bit during the winter time and still having the same outcomes as what we would do during the summertime, where we get that little bit more roll. Anything that I've talked about here, if you want to contact me directly and have a little chat through about your game, I'm obviously here during lockdown 3. But if not, I look forward to seeing you at the golf course very soon.